High performance and success depends on our behaviours and psychology, but we also have hardwired neurological needs. Now, if these are satisfied, we see optimal health and function. If these are neglected, we experience a threat response which literally inhibits our brain function and thus performance. In this video, I explore the SCARF model and how it can be used by leaders to create a brain-friendly environment to drive overall success. Ahoy, Peter from Brighter Training, and today I'm discussing the SCARF model as it relates to threat, reward, and high performance in the workplace. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments section and click like and subscribe if you find the content interesting or useful, as it helps us share these resources with more people who may benefit. So it's well known that our assumptions, emotions, filters, and model of the world influence our behaviour. The latest research in neuroscience tells us that our physiology is as critical as our psychology when it comes to performance. When we feel safe, our brain can operate at its best, and we see behaviours like trust, creativity, innovation, and rationality. Now, when we're under threat, our higher brain functions are impaired, and we operate by instinct and programming, which is less rational or open-minded. Understanding how we are wired and the quality of our social connections and the relationships that influence our neurobiology can help us to support change and drive high performance. Dr. David Rock created different models to help leaders to understand elements that need to be present to support optimal neurological function, which in turn drives high performance. So we'll explore one of those models today, called the SCARF model. The model is a fantastic introduction when considering the importance of culture, process, and change management. It can also be applied to process improvement, and it's especially important for team forming and cultural development. The premise of the SCARF model is that the brain, which has hardwired functions that haven't changed in thousands of years, makes us behave in certain ways with the overall goal to minimize threat and maximize reward. In our interactions, our brain is busy classifying everything with a reward or threat feeling in our body, which then registers in our behaviour. Our brains want to know, is something good for us or something bad for us? So factoring in our neuro environment is hugely important, but totally ignored when it comes to creating culture and team development. The SCARF model captures the common factors that can activate a reward or a threat response in social situations. You can apply and test this model in any situation in which people collaborate as part of a group. Now, the model involves 5 domains of human social experience. We have status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. We explore the details in our live training. However, triggering the reward response in any of these domains has benefits including higher brain activity, which drives innovation and reduces errors. We also tend to see people being open to new ideas and willing to explore feedback more openly. A threat response at any level also impacts performance and behaviour, and we see a release of stress hormones, a reduced working memory and reduced cognitive function, and behaviours which support personal safety over team performance, such as erring on the side of pessimism or generalising rather than exploring. Imagine how performance and culture would look with a team perpetually under threat and stress and demonstrating those characteristics. So let's briefly explore the 5 elements. So status is about our sense of personal worth, so where we are in relation to others around us. In other words, it's recognition and respect. We can trigger threat at this level through things like critique or being dismissive or public shaming. Now, certainty concerns being able to predict the future. Predictability means safety, so when people work in an environment that constantly changes, or when people are not clear on the plan or they're not secure in their future, then we see a threat response. So to support this, we need to really set clear expectations, clear goals, and realistic project schedules. Autonomy is the next one, and that provides a sense of control over events and our lives. And this is supported by providing choices, delegation, and self-responsibility, and empowerment. Obviously, the opposite will trigger a threat response, so behaviours like micromanagement and constant authoritative leadership. So next, relatedness, and that's a sense of safety with others, so a friend rather than foe. So if we feel connection and trust, then we're likely to see improved performance. Now, threat on this level can be triggered by competition, if we prohibit socialising in the workplace, or even just reducing transparency. Then finally we have fairness, which is a perception of impartial and just exchanges between people. Now, this is supported by things like transparency, consistency, communication, and clarity. Favoritism, inconsistency, and a lack of communication all trigger the threat response in this element. The take-home message from this video is that if people are operating under threat, then there's a neurological and physiological response which changes the brain function and behaviour, impacting performance, culture, trust, and connection. All of the things that you need in a high-performing team. Now, conversely, reducing threat will trigger reward and literal high brain function. The fact is, behaviour will reflect the neurology, and you need to factor that in as a leader. When the brain and the body register a social threat in these dimensions, they light up the networks of the brain that register threat of physical pain, and that's a finding that has really substantial implications for leadership practices. Think about it, emotional pain and threat is processed in the brain in the same way as physical pain and threat. So if high performance, creativity, trust and innovation is your goal, how do you think that will be impacted for people who are experiencing perpetual pain and fear? The SCARF model improves people's capacity to understand and ultimately modify their own and other people's behaviour in social situations like the workplace, allowing them to be more adaptive. So if you're interested in exploring how these concepts can be applied to help improve culture, connection and performance with your team, then give us a call to discuss available programs. Our contact details can be found in the description section or head over to brightertraining.com.au. Thanks for watching and have a great day.